The commemoration is going to be attended by all 7 members of the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau of the Communist Party of China's Central Committee. Xi Jinping who is going to deliver a keynote speech, and also Li Keqiang, Zhang Dejiang, Yu Zhengsheng, Liu Yunshan, Wang Qishan, and Zhang Gaoli, respectively. And about 3,000 people are at the commemoration, including representatives of veterans. And the whole ceremony is going to be presided by Premier Li Keqiang, also member of the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau of the Communist Party of China Central Committee. The commemoration of the 80th anniversary of the Long March victory is now taking place at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing. About 3,000 people are attending. The Long March was a forced retreat of the Communist Party of China, and its army is started in 1934 and completed in 1936.
Dear comrades, the commemoration of the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Long March begins now. Please rise to the national anthem of the People's Republic of China. Please take your seats. Today, we gather here to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Long March, in order to remember the lives that are lost and look back the great journey of our party and army. It is a great but arduous one. In order to confirm our beliefs and ideals and carry on the Long March spirit and put the Long March spirit in the real practice. Today, with us in the commemoration are General Secretary Xi Jinping, and other members of the Standing Committee of the General Political Bureau. With us in the commemoration are also leaders and officials, members of the Central Military Commissions and Red Army veterans, as well as people from all walks of life, and officials at the Beijing military government. We also have representatives from different parties, from the Beijing community, and also from the Chinese People's Liberation Army. And now, let's give the floor to General Secretary Xi Jinping to deliver his keynote speech. Fellow comrades,
今天我们在这里
today
隆重集
we
会，
gather here
纪念中国工
in
农红军
commemoration
长征胜利
of the
80周
80th
年。
anniversary of the victory of the Long March.
红军长征的那个年代，
The Red Army's Long March
中国处在
took place
半殖民地、
when China
半封
was
建
in the
社会
midst
的
of a semi-colonial and semi-feudal society.
社会危机四伏、
We were dealing with a social crisis,
野蛮侵
Japanese
略。
invasion,
国民党反对派、
and the Kuomintang's ignorance
反动派
for
置
the life
民
and
族
death
危亡
of the entire nation.
向革命根据
The
地
Kuomintang launched
连续发
a
动大
series
规模围
of
剿。
large-scale encirclement to the revolutionary
中国共产
bases.
党和红
The
军
Central Party, the Communist Party of China, and the Red Army were at a critical
中国
juncture.
革命
The Chinese
到了危急关头。
revolutionary cause was at a critical
中华
juncture,
民族
and the entire Chinese
危急关头。
nation was at a critical juncture.
面对生死存亡的严
Faced
峻考
with the
验，
choice of life and death.
从1934年10月
From October 1934
到1936年
to
10月，
October 1936,
红军
the 1st,
第一、第二、
2nd,
第四方面军
and 4th
和
Front Red
第25
Army,
军
as well as the 25th
进
Army,
行了伟大的长征。
begin their journey, their great expedition of Long March. The CPC led the Red Army, and it is with great wisdom and
战
fearlessness
胜
that we overcome all difficulties,
付出巨大牺牲，
pay great success,
胜利完成，
and finally
震撼世界，
complete
彪炳史册的长征。
this epic and historical
宣告了
expedition.
国民党反动
It
派
declares
消灭中国共产党和红军的图谋
Kuomintang's complete
彻底失
failure
败。
to annihilate CPC
宣
and
告
the
了
Red Army.
中国共产党和红军
It also
肩负
realizes
着民族希望胜
a
利实现了
strategic
北上
transfer
抗日的
of the CPC and Red Army in order to fight the
实现了
Japanese invasions,
中国共产党
and also
中
realize
国革命事
a
业
great turn of an
从
event
挫折走向胜利的
for
伟
CPC
大转折，
as well as China's
开启了
revolutionary cause.
中国共产党
It ushered in a
为
new
实现
era
民族独立、
for CPC's
人民解
efforts
放
in fighting
而
for
斗争的
national independence
新的
and people's
伟大进军。
liberation.
这一惊天动地的革
This
命壮举，
revolutionary maneuver
是中国共产党和红军谱写的壮丽史
is
诗，
an epic story written by the CPC and the Red
是
Army.
中华民族伟大复兴
And
历史进程
it's
中
a
的
milestone
巍峨丰碑。
in the Chinese path to national rejuvenation.
在这里，
Hereby,
我代表党中央、
on behalf
国务院，
of the Central Party Committee, the State Council, and the Central Military
代
Commission,
表全党全
on
军
behalf of all people from the party, from the army, and the entire country,
向领导红军
please allow me
创造这一历史伟业
to
的
pay tribute
毛泽东、
to the
周恩来
first generation of revolutionists of the CPC, Mao Zedong, Zhou Enlai, and Zhu De,
向在长征中浴血奋战、
to those commanders and soldiers who
坚持革
fought
命斗
their
争的
revolutionary fight
红军指战
during
员
the Long March,
向当年支持
and
红
to
军长
those
征的
of you who
各族人民，
supported
特别
the
是
Long
各
March
革命根据地人民，
of the Red Army, especially
向所有
those
健在
who
的
lived at the revolutionary bases,
军老战士
and to all the Red Army veterans who are still with us.
我提议全体起立，
Now please join me
为在
in a
长征途
moment
中
of silence
和在各地
for the lives
革命斗
that are
争中
lost in
英勇牺
the
牲
Long
的
March and in the
革命烈士
revolutionary fight
默哀。
in all the localities.
默哀毕，
The
请
end
坐
of
下。
the moment of silence. Please take your seats.
同志们，
Dear comrades,
穿越历史的沧桑巨变，
in
回望
retrospect
80年前那
of
段
the
苦难
sufferings
和辉煌，
and greatness 80 years
更加
ago,
深刻地认识到，
we come to realize that
长征
the
在
Long
我们
March
党、国
plays
家
such a significant
发展史上
role in the
具
history
有
of our
十分伟
party
大的意义，
and our nation.
对中华民族
It is
历
highly
史进程
influential
具有
to
十
the
分深远的
historical
影响。
procedures and process of the entire nationalities.
长征是一次理想信念
The
的
Long March
伟大远征，
was a march of faith and ideals.
崇高的理想，坚定的
The
信
high
念，
ideals
永远是
and unswerving
中国共
beliefs
产党人的灵魂。
is the political soul for the CPC people.
中国共产党从成立
Since
之日起
the，founding of the CPC,
就把共产主义
we
确
have
立为远
always
大理想，
identified communism as the
始终
ultimate
团结带领中
ideal
国人民朝着这个伟大理想
and
前行。
led the Chinese people to forge ahead towards this ultimate ideal.
几
The
经
party
挫
and the
折
army
而不断
had
奋起，
undergone a lot of setbacks and sufferings, but continued to rise again
淬火成
from
钢。
these difficulties.
归根到底，在于心中的
It
远
is
大的理想
It all comes down to the revolutionary beliefs
坚
and
定
commitment
执着，
to revolution.
始终闪耀着火热的光芒。长征途中，
In the process of the Long
英
March,
雄的红军
the heroic Red Army
血战湘江，
fought fearlessly in the battles of Xiangjiang River,
巧
the
渡金沙
Chushui
江，
River, the Jingsha
强渡
River,
大渡河，
the Dadu River,
飞夺泸定桥，
the Luding Bridge,
鏖战独树镇，
and the Dushu County,
勇克包座，
as well as the Baozuo
转战乌
Mountain,
蒙山，
the Wumeng Mountain,
击退了上百万
and successfully
穷凶极恶的
defeated
追兵阻
fierce attacks of millions
征服
of enemies
空气稀薄的冰
and
山
had
雪岭，
conquered snow mountains with thin air
渺无人烟的沼
and
泽草
crossed
地，
the marsh
纵横10余省，
with no trace
长
of
驱
humans.
25000里。
Their footprints are left in more than 10
主力红军
provinces,
长征后，
and they march
留
as
在
far
根
as
据地的红军队伍和游击队，
25,000 leagues.
在极端
After the
困难
main
的
force
条件下
began their expedition,
仅仅依靠
the
人民群众，
rest of the Red Army and the
坚持游击
guerrillas
战，
continued to fight in the revolutionary bases.
西北地区红军
The Northeast Red Army created the revolutionary base in Shanxi and Gansu, and they joined the 25th Red Army and break the encirclement of the enemies, thus created the condition for the main force to create their revolutionary base at the northeast, at the northwest of China. The Northeast Anti-Japanese Union also continues their arduous fight in the Kuomintang Road areas. All of these are great contributions to the success of the Long March. The victory of the Long March is a manifest of the victory of our ideals of CPC and also a victory of our beliefs. Despite the harsh environment and food scarcity, all the officials and soldiers stuck together in pursuit of the revolutionary ideals. In a harsh road of Long March, our highest ideals, our unswerving beliefs, inspired and guided us to move forward. In the 25,000 leagues of journey of the First Red Army, one Red Army soldier sacrificed in every 300 meters. The road of the Long March is truly a road of blood and sacrifice. The hardship may do harm to our bodies, and death may take away our lives. But no power or force will shake the beliefs and ideals of the CPC people. The victory of Long March depends on our spirit of defeating all enemies and conquering all setbacks. The Long March declares to the world and to the nation that the CPC and the People's Army under its leadership is armed with Marxism in pursuit of communism as the highest ideal. The sufferings, twists, deaths along the Long March Road are testimony to the beliefs and ideals of the CPC members. It shows to the world that our ideals and beliefs are unswerving and unbreakable. The Long March is also a great march to test the truth. The truth can only be tested in real practice. The truth can only be confirmed and established in practices. In the midst of the Long March, the Red Army was facing pursuit of enemies, harsh environment, and also internal fights with the wrong ideas inside the party. After the Long March, instead of getting weaker, the party and the Red Army grew stronger because we had already found the right path to Chinese revolution and the right theory to guide our path. During the Long March, The Zunyi meeting
是我们党历史
convened
上
by the
一个
Central
生
Party
死攸关
Committee
的转折点，
was indeed a life and
这次
death
会议
turning point in our
确
history
立了
of
毛
the
泽东同
CPC.
志在
In this
红军
meeting,
和党
we
中央的领导
identified
地位，
Mao Zedong's leadership
开始确
inside the
立了
party and the army,
以毛泽东同志为主要代表的
and established
马克思主义
the
正
leadership
确路线，
led by Mao Zedong,
在党中央
and
的
also identified the
领导地位
right path of Marxism in
开
China.
始形成了以毛泽东同志为核心的党的第一代
The first
这样领导
generation
集体。
of leadership
这
surrounded
是我们党和革命
around
事业
Mao Zedong
转
began
危
to
为
form.
安，
This
不断打开新
is
局
a
面。
most important
最重要的保
guarantee
证。
for us to realize the success
长征的胜利
of the revolutionary cause
使我们
for our
党
party and the
进一步
people.
认识到，
The victory of Long
只有
March
把马克思列宁
made
主义
us
基本原
realize
理
that
从中国
it
革
is
命
only
具体
through
实
the
际
combination
结合
of
起来
Marxism and Leninism
独立
with
自主
China's
解决中国革命的重
revolutionary
大问题，
reality can we
才能把革命事
address the
业
important
引向胜利。
issues in China's
这
revolutionary
是在
cause.
血的教训、
This is
斗争考验
the
中
lesson that we learned hard way in the various battles.
长征的胜利，实现
The
了
victory of Long
在
March
追求真理、坚持真理的
have
基
helped
础
us
上
to，realize the unprecedented
全党的
unity
空前团
of
结，
the entire party,
红军的空前团结，
the Red Army,
没有
in the
这种
pursuit of
思
truth.
想上、政治上的大团结，
Without this general
中
unity,
国革命胜利是不可
the
能实
victory
现
of
的。
China's revolution simply cannot be possible.
经过长征的千锤百炼，
After enduring
我
the
们党的思
hardships
想上
in the Long
不
March,
断成熟，
the Communist Party
成
of
为中
China
国人民进行
matured
抗日
in
战
our
争的
thoughts,
中流砥柱，
and since then
成
become
为
the
中国
leading
革命
force
的最后
in the
胜利。
war against Japanese
中坚力量。
invasions and China's fight to national liberation.
长征
The Long
是
March
一次唤起民众的伟大远征。
is a great march that has awakened the people.
红军打胜仗，
The victories of the
人
Red
民是
Army
靠山。
are dependent on the people's support.
长征是历史记录上的第一次，
The Long March is a
长征
first
是
in
宣言
history.
书，长征
It
是
is a
宣传队，
proclamation
长征是播种机。
and a sower.
面对正义和邪恶两种力
In the
量
battle
的交锋
between，the good and evil,
光明与黑暗两种前途的
and when
抉择，
faced with the choice of light and
我们党
darkness,
始终植根于人民，
our party has always
联系
kept the
群众，
public
宣传
and the
群众，
people close
武
at
装
heart.
群众，
We're united
团结
with the
群众，
people, armed the people,
依靠群
and
众，
dependent upon the people.
以自己的模范行动，赢得了人民
And
群
with
众
our
真心
actions,
拥护。
we won the support from the people.
广大人民群众是长征胜利的力量源泉。
The people's support is the very source of strength in the victory of the Long March.
我们党高举全民族
During the
团
Long
结
March,
抗
our
战的大
party
旗，
has held up high the banner of unity among the people of all ethnicities
吹
and
响了
promoted the
全民
formation
族
of
觉
a
醒
united
和
front against
奋起
Japanese
号角，
aggression, sounded off the alarm for all the
团结
people
抗日，
to
以
strive
致对外的
and
强大
unite
力量。
together to fight Japanese invasion and form
广大人民群众
a strong force
深
against
刻
foreign
认识到，
aggression.
中国共产党
The
是
public
为
has
人
been
民
made
谋利的党，
keenly aware that the
红军是
Communist
人民
Party
的
of
军队。
China is a party that has the people's interests at heart. The Red
中国
Army
共产党指
is
引
a
的道路
people's army,
是人民群众翻身
and the
得
path
解放的
led by the
正确道
CPC
路。
is a right path in order for people to gain liberation.
长征的胜利宣传了我们党的主张，
The victory of the Long March helped promulgate the message of the Communist Party of
扩大
China
了党和红
and
军
sowed
的
the
影响，
seeds of revolution.
巩固了
It expanded
党
influence the
同人民
party
群众的
and the Red Army,
血肉联系，
consolidated the relationship between the party and the
使
people,
党牢牢扎根在
making the party
人民心中。
firmly founded among the people.
长征的胜利充分展示了
The victory of the Long
中国
March
共产党
showcased the
性
true
质和
nature
宗旨的力量，
and principles of the Communist Party of
充
China.
分说明了
It also
中国
illustrated
共产党必须在
that the
人民
Communist
中
Party
间
of China
生根开花，
must develop with the people
必
as
须
its
仅仅
foundation
依靠人民来克服困难，赢
in
得
order
胜
to
利。
overcome difficulties and achieve victories. It needs the people.
长征是一次开创新局的伟大远征。
The Long March is a great march that has opened new
长征
chapters.
的胜利是方向和道路的胜
The
利。
victory of the Long March is a victory in direction and
长
path.
征的过程不仅是
The
战
process
胜敌人、赢得胜利，
of the Long March is not only a process of defeating enemies and winning victories,
而且是联系实际、
but also
创新理论、
a process of
探
innovation
索
in
革
theories
命道路的过程。
and exploration in the revolutionary path.
长征出发前，由于党内
Before the Long
教
March
条主义的错误领导，
Because of the bad leadership and pinko dogmatism within the party,
第5次反围剿失败，
the fifth counter-campaign against
其他根
encirclement
据地
at the Central Revolutionary Base area failed, and other revolutionary base
中国
areas
革命面
also
临着
faced
方向
defeats.
和道路的抉择。面对乱云飞渡、惊涛骇浪，
But faced with the many trials and tribulations,
表现出无所畏惧的
our party showed
伟大实践精神，表现出浴
its
火重生的
fearlessness, its
伟
true
大创造
spirit,
精神，
and its ability
在
to
血
rise
与
from the
火中
ashes,
趟出了一条走向新
and
生、
have found
走向
a
胜
new
利的
path to
革
victory
命道路。
through blood and tears.
长征途中，我们党通过
During the
艰
Long
苦
March,
卓绝的实践探
Our
索，
party, through practice, exploration, and
成功
struggles,
把解决生存危机、
has successfully
拯救民族
joined
危
the
亡
missions of its own survival with the survival of the Chinese nation.
把长征的大方向同建
The
立
mission
抗
of the Long
日
March
前进阵地，
has become intertwined with the struggle against Japanese
实现了
aggression
国内革命战争向抗日民族
and
战
achieve
争
a
的转变，
strategic redirection from domestic revolutionary warfare to the
中
war
国人
of
民抗
resistance
日战争胜利，
against Japanese
进
aggression,
而得其新民主
laying
主
a
义
solid
胜利。
foundation for the victory of the Chinese people's war of resistance against Japanese aggression and the victory of the new democratic
长征的
revolution.
胜利
The
不
victory of
仅
the Long
保
March
存了革命力量，
not only saved the
而
strength
且使我们党
of our revolutionary
找到了
force,
中国革命力量生存发展
but
新的
also
落脚点，
helped our party found
找到了
a
中
new
国革命
foothold
事
for
业
its
胜利前
existence and
进
development
新的出发
and
点。
a new momentum for the
从
revolutionary
长
cause.
征的终点出发，
Building on the victory
我们党
of
领
the
导
Long
中国
March
人民展开
our
了
party
中国革命
has led the
波澜
Chinese
壮
people
阔的新画卷。
to open a new chapter for the Chinese Revolution.
长征的胜利
The victory of the Long March
使我们党以陕甘宁
has
革命
helped
根
our
据地
party
为中心，
establish Shanxi, Gansu,
推
and
动
Ningxia
一
as
大批革
its
命根据地
revolutionary bases
如雨后
and
春
also
笋般
promoted
建立和
the
发展。
quick establishment and development of
革
many
命
other
火种
revolutionary
在神
bases.
州大地建成燎
The
原之
seeds
势，
of revolution
有力推动
were
了
sown
新的
across China,
革命高潮的到来。
and it's integral in the arrival of revolution in China in full force.
同志们，
Comrades,
艰难困苦，玉汝于成。
to achieve greatness, one has to go
长
through
征历
trials
史
and
之长，
tribulations.
规模之大，行
The
程
length
之
of the
远，
Long March,
环境之
its
险
scale,
恶，
its
战
distance,
斗之惨烈，
adverse circumstances, and
在
intensity
中国历史
of
上
its
是
battles
绝无仅有的。
are definitely
在
one of
世
its
界
kind
战争
in
史
Chinese
乃至
history,
人类文明史上，也是极为罕
in the
见。
world's war history, or even in the history of human civilization. It's
在
very
漫
rare.
漫征途中，
During the long journey of the Long March, the Red Army engaged in some 600 battles, crossed close to 100 rivers, and climbed more than 40 steep mountains. Among them, there are over 20 snow mountains with altitude of over 4,000 meters. And the Red Army crossed grasslands and marshes dubbed death traps. And it's their sheer will that has helped them overcome the most extreme conditions. It was the most chivalrous and brave feat in the history of world military history, and a remarkable miracle in human history. In the 80 years since the Long March, there have been no shortage of reports and research all over the world about the Long March. And many people have come to China to discover the route of the Long March. Many more within the international community have come to hold the belief that the Long March is one of the most important historical events in the 20th century. It's one that's characterized by faith, satisfaction, will, and courage. The spirit of strength, as displayed during the process of the Long March, heeds no limit in time, space, or race. It's a great testament to humankind's pursuit of truth and light. Comrades, Long March, which is a great feat in human history, has left us the most precious spiritual treasure, and that is the spirit of the Long March, displayed by the Communist Party of China members and the Red Army using their life and blood. What the great spirit of the Long March means is seeing the fundamental interests of the Chinese people and the Chinese nation as above everything else. It's firm revolutionary faith and spirit, and it's a firm belief in the certain victory of righteous cause. It means the will to overcome any and every struggle, make any and every sacrifice. It means the spirit of independence and truthfulness. It means always looking at the big picture, obeying laws, and be disciplined. And it means relying on the public's support and striving together with the public in life or death. The great spirit of the Long March is a reflection of the revolutionary spirit of the Communist Party of China and the armies led by it. And it's also a reflection of the perseverance of the Chinese nation. And it's a reflection of the spirit of the Chinese nation with patriotism at its core. A person without faith won't amount to much, and a nation without faith won't be strong. Faith and spirit are something that a nation relies on for long-term survival. Only when one reaches a certain height spiritually, the nation can persevere in the long term. and continue to strive
伟
forward.
大长征精神
The great spirit of the Long March
作为中国共产党人红色基因
is an important
和
genetic
精神族谱的
and spiritual
重要
component
组成部分，
of the Communist Party of China,
已经深深融入
is
中
ingrained
华民族的血脉和灵魂，
into the psyche of the Chinese
成
nation
为社会主义核心价值观的丰富滋
and
养，
provides nutrition
成为鼓舞
for
和
the
激
core
励
socialist values,
中国人民不断攻坚克难，
and continues to
从
encourage
胜利
the Chinese
走
people to
向
continue
胜
to
利
strive
的
forward
强大精神动力。
and serve as a strong motivation for the march towards victory.
同志们，
Comrades,
历史是人民创造的，
people create
英
history,
雄的人民
and heroic
创造
people
英雄的历史。
create heroic history.
今天中国的进步和发展，
The development and progress that China has seen today
长征中走过来的，走出来的。
is part and parcel of the spirit of the
早
Long
在
March.
新中国成立前夕，毛泽东同志就告诫我们，
At the beginning of the
夺取全国
establishment of
胜利，
People's Republic of China,
这
Chairman
只是万里
Comrade
长
Mao
征走
Zedong
完了第一步。
warned us that the victory of the
新中国成立後，
national victory is only the first step of the Long March.
和曲折实践，
After the establishment
我们开启了
of the People's Republic of China,
新时代，
after much exploration
迈上了建设中国特
and
色
practice
社会主义新长征之路。
we have opened up the new chapter for reform and opening up
改革开
and
放
embarked
30
upon
多
a
年
new
来，
long march of building a socialist society with
在
Chinese
中国共产党
characteristics.
领导下，
In the 30 years since
全
China's
国各族人民
opening up and
团
reform,
结一心，
under the leadership of the Communist Party of China,
我国改革开放
people
和
of all
社会主义现代
ethnicities
化
and
事
from
业
all walks of life in China have united together and
人
strive
民生
forward.
活得到根本改善，
The Chinese society
我国社会主义制度
has
极
developed
大巩
in
固
rapid pace,
发展。
and people's livelihoods
我
have
们
been
迎来
improved,
了中华民族实现伟大复兴的
and we have
光明
come
前景。
closer and closer to the prospect of realizing
坚
the
持
great
发展
rejuvenation
中国特
of the
色社会
Chinese
主义
nation,
是一项长
persevering
期的
on the path
艰苦的历史任务。
of a socialist country with
邓
Chinese
小平同志
characteristics
说，
is an arduous task.
我们搞社会主义
Comrade
才
Deng
几十
Xiaoping
年，
has said that
还处在初级阶段，
we've only
巩固
been
和发展
developing
社会主义制度，
socialism for several decades, and we're still very much in a preliminary stage. The consolidation development
几代
of
人
the socialist system
十几代人，
requires
甚至几十代人
several generations
坚持不懈地
and
努力
even
奋斗，绝不能
several
掉以
decades
轻心。
of work,
历史是
and
不
there
断
should
地
be
向
no
前
let up
的，
in our efforts.
要达到
The history
理想的
continues to
彼岸
move forward. In order for us to
就要
reach the
沿着我们
ideals,
确定的道路，
we have to
不断前进。
move along the path that has been long determined.
每一代人有每一代人的长征路，
Each generation has its own
每一代人
long march.
都要走好自己的
And。each generation has to complete their journey
今天
on the long march.
我们这一代人的长征，
As for today,
就是要实
our
现
generation's long march
两个100年
is to
奋斗目
realize
标，
the two centenary
实现
goals
中华民族
and
伟大
realize
复兴
the
的
Chinese
中国
dream
梦。
of great rejuvenation.
今天的长征同当年红军长征相比，
Today's long march is different when compared with the Red
改革
Army's
开放
long
以来
march
我们已经走过的
or the long
新
march
长征之路，
that we undertook since reform and
虽
opening
然
up
在环境、
in
条件、
environment,
任务、
conditions,
力量等
missions,
方面
and
有
power.
一些差异，甚至有很大不
Some
同，
of these differences are quite prominent.
但都是具有开创性、
However,
艰巨
they
性
are all journeys
复杂
that
性的事业。
are pioneering, difficult, and complex.
实现伟大的理想，
In order for
没有
us to reach and
平
realize
坦
the
的
great ideals,
大道可走，
there's no easy road to great success.
夺取、坚持和发展中国特
In
色
order
社会
for
主义
us
伟大
to
事业
fight
新进
for
展，
the new progress, to
夺取
realize
推进
socialism
党的
with
建
Chinese
设
characteristics,
新的伟大工程
and
新
make
成效，
great new achievements in the
夺取
development of the party,
具有许多新的历史特点的
as well as
伟大斗争新胜利，
great fights in a new historical
我们
point.
还有许多雪山、草地，
We still
需要跨越。
have a lot of snow mountains or
还有许
marsh
多
to cross,
娄山关、腊子口，
and many more
需要
Loshan
征服。
Pass or Lazikou Pass to
一
conquer.
切贪图安逸、不愿继续
Therefore,
艰苦奋
we
斗的
have to
想法
guard，against
都是要
any
不得的。
self-complacency
一切骄
or
傲自
lazy
满，
thought,
不愿继续开拓前
as
进的
well
想
as
法，
reluctance
都是要不得的。
to move forward.
长征永远在路上。
We are forever on the road of Long
一
March.
个不记得来路的民族，
If we cannot
是没有
remember
出路的
where we came from, we cannot
无论我们的事业
possibly
发展
know
到哪
where
一
we are
步，
going.
不论我们取
No
得
matter
了多大
where
成
we
就，
are, how much
我
achievement
们
we
都要
have
大力
made,
弘扬伟大长
we
征
have
精
to
神，
carry on the great
在新
spirit
的
of
长
Long
征路
March
上
and
继
forge
续
ahead
奋勇
in the
前
long
进。
march of our times.
弘扬伟大长征精神，
To carry forward the
走好
spirit of Long March
今天的长征路，
and
必须
continue the
坚定
long march of today,
共产主义远大理想
we have to
和
stay
中国特色
committed
社会主义共
to
同理
the
想，
great ideals of
为
communism
崇高理
and the
想
common
信念
beliefs of
而矢志
socialism
奋
with
斗。
Chinese characteristics and fight for
长征
those
胜利启
ideals.
示我们，
The victory of Long March
心中有信仰，脚
is
下
a
有力量。
manifest that with belief in heart,
没有
we
牢
will
不可
have
破的理
power
想信念，
to forge ahead.
没有崇高
Without
理想信念的
unswerving
有力支
ideals
撑
and，support and beliefs,
要取得长征
it would
胜
be
利，
impossible and
不可想象。
unimaginable for us to reach the success of the Long March.
邓小平同志说过，
Comrade Deng Xiaoping once said,
过去我们党无论怎样弱小，
no matter how weak
无
the
论遇到什
CPC
么困难，
was, no matter what kind of difficulties we
一直有
encountered,
强大的战斗
we
力，
always remain a
因为我们有
strong
马克思
fighting
主义
force.
和共产主义
This
的
is
信念，
because we believe in
有了共同的
Marxism
理
and
想，
communism. With
也
this
就有
common
了铁
belief
的纪律。
comes ironclad
无论过去、现
disciplines.
在和将来，
No matter in the
这
past,
都是我
at
们
present,
的
or in the
真
future,
正优势。
this is our true advantage.
在新的长征路
In
上，
a new long march,
我们一定要保持理想信念坚
it is
定，
essential that we stay true to those beliefs
时
and
代
ideals,
如何
no
变
matter
化，
how the time changes,
无论条件
no matter how the conditions
变化。
change.
都风雨如磐，不动摇。
We have to stay
自
committed
觉做共产主义远
and
大理想
believe in
和中国特色
communism as
社
the
会
highest
主义
ideal
共同理想的
and the socialism
坚定
with Chinese characteristics
信仰
as the common belief,
忠实
and
实
be a
践者，
real practitioner of those
永
beliefs,
远为了真理而斗争，
and forever fight for
永
the
远
truth
为了理
and
想
ideals.
而斗争。石可破也，而不可夺坚；
You may break the stone,
丹可
but
磨
not
也，
its hardness.
而不可
You
夺
may
势。
smash the cinnabar, but
理想
not
信念的
its
坚定
redness.
来自
Our
思想理论的
commitment
坚定
to the ideals and beliefs comes
认识
from the
真理，
commitment
掌握
to
真理，
the theory. We
信
have
仰真
to
理，
understand
捍卫真理，
and master these
是坚定
truths
理想信念
and
的
defend the
精神
truth.
前提，
This is a prerequisite for
中
the
国共产党人
commitment
的
to
理想
our
信
ideals
念
and beliefs.
建立在
The CPC
马克思主
members'
义科
beliefs
学
and
真理的
ideals is
基础之
based
上，
on Marxism
建立在马
and
克思主义
its
揭示的
theories on
人
development
类社会发展规
of
律的基
human
础之上，
societies,
建立在为
and
最
it's
广大人民谋利
based
益
on
的崇高价
our
值
values
基础之
to
上，
serve the fundamental interest of the greatest majority of the people. We stay committed because we are in pursuit of the truth. We are committed because we follow the development of the human societies. We are committed because we represent the most fundamental interest of the general people. To stay committed, we have to thoroughly study Marxism and Leninism, Mao Zedong's thoughts, Deng Xiaoping's theories, the three represents, the scientific development outlook, and also the new concepts and new strategies since the CPC's 18th plenary session. We should equip our mind with the truth and let it guide our ideals and confirm our beliefs. We have to integrate what we learned with what we believe, what we think, and what we do. We have to transfer the learning result into unswerving thoughts and beliefs and ideals and transfer them into the right outlook for the world, for life and values, and take advantage of our ideals and beliefs to usher in a brighter future. To carry on the Long March spirit and complete today's Long March, we have to stay confident in a path and theory and system and culture of socialism with Chinese characteristics in order to pull over all efforts to fight for the success and new victory of the socialism with Chinese characteristics. The victory of Long March is a manifest that it is only when we were guided by scientific theories can we have a right orientation to move forward. We have to begin our journey based on reality in order to gain victory. The journey we've been through in the Long March not only cross thousands of mountains and rivers, but also shook off the dogmatism for Marxism. The lessons and inspiration of the Long March is at its core to combine Marxism with Chinese reality and to walk and to usher in the journey of Chinese revolution, development and reform. In the new Long March, we have to stay committed to the path of socialism with Chinese characteristics. This is the only way for the Chinese people to create our own life. And the Chinese socialist theoretical framework is most important guidance for us to walk on the right path to guide the CPC and the people to realize national rejuvenation. It is an advanced theory that evolves with times. It is of distinct Chinese characteristics and systematic advantages, and has the power of have the capability of self-correction. The Chinese socialist culture is embedded with the deepest spiritual pursuit of the Chinese nation and represents the unique spiritual mark of the Chinese nation. And it's an important spiritual force for us to move forward. This has not only proved the right road theoretically, but also in real practice. Socialism with Chinese characteristics bears the ideals and explorations of generation after generations of CPC members, and also the wish and expectations of all those who fought for national liberation, as well as the fight and sacrifice of millions of Chinese people. It is a natural choice for the development of Chinese society since modern times. We have to stay true to our road, to the theories, to systems, and to our culture. But this doesn't mean that we should stay enclosed and stagnant. We have to continue to explore, invent, create, and advance, so that socialism with Chinese characteristics can remain vital and lively. At the meantime, we have to keep in mind all the optimization and adjustment to our road are on the basis of a preliminary path that we have long chosen. It's instead of a orientational shift or move away from what we came from. To carry on the Long March spirit and complete today's Long March journey, we have to put the people at the center and serve the people, depend on the people, and fight for the welfare and well-being of the people. The victory of Long March is an inspiration to us that the greatest wisdom and power lies in the people. It is only by believing the people and depending on the people and mobilize the creation of the people can we become a united force. The history of the Long March is a history that reflects the close connection between the people and the army. In Shazhou village, Rucheng County of Hunan Province, 3 female Red Army soldiers stayed at Miss Xu Jiexiu's home. Before they left, they cut the only bed cover they own and left it with Miss Xu Jiexiu. She said, "What defines the Communist Party of China? The Communist Party is one that if you only have one bed cover, you will cut half and leave it to the people." We should always tie our destinies with that of the people. This is the fundamental guarantee for us and the Red Army to gain the victory of Long March, and also the guarantee for us to encounter any difficulties or risks. The Chinese Communist Party continues to develop and grow stronger because we always depend on the people. The reason that we are applauded and supported and welcomed by the people is because we always bears in heart the interests of the people.
On the path of the new Long March, all party members must keep in mind that the issue of who exactly we're doing it for and who we rely on is a litmus test for the nature, for the very nature of a party. We must adhere to the people as our political foundation and place the people's interest above everything else and continue to move forward on creating welfare for the people. We should unite and lead the general public to continue to build on our hard work in order to improve people's livelihood and let the reform and its results benefit more people and benefit more people equally. The water that bears the boat is the same that swallows it up. It is something that we must bear in mind and cannot forget in any circumstance. The people we have to rely on. Forgetting the people and their interests and being detached from the people, we will become water that knows not its source and trees that know not its root, and we will accomplish nothing. We should continue to hold on to our close relations with the general public. We should accept their criticism and supervision. We should always keep their struggles in mind and always try to improve the welfare of the people so that the party can win and continue to hold on to the trust and support of the people. Unity is a strong force that can help us overcome any difficulty. In the process of achieving the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, we must consolidate the unity of people of all ethnicities here in China and also consolidate the unity of all parties, all groups, all ethnicities, and people from all walks of life, and continue to maintain the peace and stability of our country and our society, and vehemently oppose any separatist activities. We need to integrate people's wisdom and their power in order to create forces of innovation and development for the society. The strong force that rises out of the unity of the Chinese people will become a strong motivation for achieving the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. Promulgating the great spirit of the Long March and walking well on the path of the Long March today, we must know our direction, understand and command the big picture. And strive for the realization of our general tasks and goals. The victory of the Long March has taught us that in order for a party to sustain and not be washed away by the tides of time, we need to understand well the historical features of our times and our realities and be proactive strategically. In the process of the Long March, we've waded through steep mountains, dangerous waters, and barren lands. But every journey, every campaign, and every battle is done and won from a strategic point. that's led to the victory of the war, but also one, the proactiveness in strategy. It is a spirit, and it is also a wisdom. On the path of the new march, we must be founded upon the realities and conditions of our nation and our party. We must possess both a domestic and international perspective, coordinate well the development of all causes in order to achieve breakthroughs and prevent systemic risks and avoid subversive crises in order to maintain the development of the general strategy, persevering on and continuing to develop a Chinese socialist society with Chinese characteristics. The main task is the modernization of the Chinese nation and also the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. We must continue to adhere to the strategic plans of the 5-in-1 and the 4 comprehensives. Development will be a decisive factor in the development of a social society with Chinese characteristics. We must adhere to economic development as a core, and also the new normal in order to create new growth models and drivers. Reform will be a very critical move for the development of the Chinese economy and the Chinese nation. We must hold high the banner of reform and break through conventional thinking and break down vested interests and also the barricades that have been laid in terms of the advancement in productivity in our society. I will continue to innovate because it's the utmost priority in development. We'll continue to liberate our thoughts, rely on practice, and continue to evolve with the times, and continue to innovate as well in multiple aspects, so that our country and our party will be one that is innovative and will continue to open new chapters. Promulgating the spirit of the Long March and walking well on the path of today's road of Long March, we must build a national defense and a strong military that is commensurate with the position of our country and that is contiguous with the national interests of our country. The victory of the Long March has taught us that the victory of the Long March is the victory of the Long March is the foundation of the people's military, and it's the hope of the country. And party's absolute command of the military will be the foundation for the victory of the people's military. The Long March has tested the people's army. It also grown the people's army and made the people's army. The Long March opened a new chapter in the development of the people's army. It is an honor, and it is an honor that needs to be carried on. on the new path of the Long March. We'll strive to build a first-class military internationally. A strong nation needs a strong army. Only with a strong army can a nation be safe and secure. Political life should be at the front and center for building our military and adhering to the party's leadership, having absolute command over the military, and also holding on to the heritage of the Red Army will be critical for building a strong army. We must build a military with a strong faith, principle, and discipline. And we should not let up on the efforts of reforming and strengthening our military. And systematic problems, structural problems, and policy issues need to be resolved in order to modernize and continue to reform our army. We should continue to push forward the modernization of the Chinese military and to build a modern military force with Chinese characteristics. Military governance by law is something else that we need to emphasize in order to raise the legal and modern construction of China's national defense and military building. We should also strengthen military training through practice and also raise the Chinese military's ability to win information warfare. The integration of military and civilian capacities and the involvement of those capacities as part of China's socio-economic development to create a strategic layout of multiple elements, multiple fields, and highly effective integration. We need to strengthen international military cooperation, and also China should carry out its responsibilities and tasks commensurate with its position within the international community in order to contribute to the peace and stability of the international community. The Chinese military should also always be aware of potential crises in its mission. And continue to strive for the modernization of China's national defense system and the Chinese military. Promulgating the great spirit of the Long March and walking well on today's Long March. The party's leadership should be strengthened, and the party should be governed in a very strict manner. The victory of the Long March has taught us the party's leadership is a basic guarantee for the success of the party's and the people's causes. Comrade Mao Zedong has said that it is the Communist Party of China that has secured the victory of the Long March. Without the Communist Party of China, the Long March as we know it today would be unthinkable. The Communist Party of China, its leadership, its cadres, and its members are not afraid of any trials and tribulations. The leadership of the Communist Party of China is a basic guarantee for the success in Chinese reform nation building, and revolution. It is the fundamental feature of a socialist society with Chinese characteristics, and we should steadfastly adhere to and continue to improve on.
In a new Long March road, comrades of the entire party should stay committed and safeguard the leadership of the party, and bears the people's and party's interest in mind, stay loyal to the party, address difficulties for the party, assume and shoulder responsibilities for the party, and fulfill any task or missions commissioned by the party. Through the joint effort, we should always stay together with the people and evolve with the changing of time. A real hero is someone who knows his weaknesses and continues to improve oneself. The closer we are to the dream to national rejuvenation, the more arduous our tasks are. We should guard against any complacency. We are facing the four major challenges and four major dangers, and they are long-term, complex, and severe. We should stick to the central leadership of the Central Party Committee, and among party members and cadres of party organizations at all levels, we strengthen the political awareness, the big picture awareness, the coordinateness awareness, and unity awareness, in order to guarantee that we stay united in minds, in the political fronts, and in action. We should continue to strengthen the governance of the party and improve on the capacity to lead and stay relevant. We should also unswervingly advance our efforts to fight corruption and strengthen our disciplines in order to further conduct the party's self-purification, self-optimization, self-innovation, and self-improvement. We should improve our capability to lead and to govern, and improve the capacity to resist corruption and risk, so that we can continue to become the center of leadership in realizing socialism with Chinese characteristics. To promulgate the spirit of the Long March and complete our long march of the modern times, it's an important task faced at the new time. The great spirit of Long March was gained at expense of great sacrifice from the people and many great battles. We have to carry on and bear in mind the spirit of the Long March and use it as the strongest spiritual motivation for us to move forward as a party, a nation, a people, and our army. Comrades, 80 years since the victory of the Long March, the party has led the Chinese people to continue to push forward and forge ahead in our road of revolution, nation building, and reform. And many more battles were won, and victories were gained. At present, we are closer than ever to the national rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, and we should be more confident and we are more capable than ever in realizing that goal. Our generation benefits from the legacy of their predecessors, and we continue to struggle and fight today in order to blaze the trail for tomorrow. The blueprint has been made, and now it's time to execute it. In our road ahead, we have to carry on the spirit of the Long March in order to inspire and encourage people from the entire party, army, and country, especially the young generation, to work hard and press ahead the great cause blazed by our predecessors, and in creating new success and write new chapters in realizing the two centenary goals and the new long march of fulfilling Chinese dreams of national rejuvenation. Comrades, the keynote speech delivered by General Secretary Xi Jinping looked back at the Long March as an epic event in China's revolutionary cause and concluded the significance of the Long March and raised the concept of promulgating the spirit of the Long March in order to work well on today's Long March. The lesson is a thorough and important one. We should carry on the Long March spirit in our daily works and life, confirm our faith and ideals. Let us unite around the leadership led by General Secretary Xi Jinping and continues our road unswervingly in the socialism with Chinese characteristics and serve the people and depend on the people and face all difficulties and setbacks fearlessly in order to realize greater success in the new Long March and realize the goals of the two centenary goals, and realize the Chinese dream of rejuvenating the nation. Now, please join me and rise to the anthem of Internationale. The commemoration of the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Long March concludes.